this is Lydia and today I'll be showing you step by step how I've created this shaker card with some embossing paste snow. Firstly, we're going to create the frame for the shaker card. I have used this die from Mama Elephant. It's called Polaroid Fun, but there's lots of other Polaroid dies available to buy and use. I've just cut it out of white card. I have added some red tape around the outside frame. I'm just going to remove that. After I've removed the red tape, I'm going to take a piece of acetate slightly smaller than my outside edge of the die cut, and I'm going to add the acetate to the red. And there we have the front part of our shaker card. I've also cut the same size of the acetate as in this blue paper from Sweater Weather, and that is going to be my sky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a row of trees from the Snow Day set, this one here. It does match up with a die from the Hill set from Fawn, but I have the Mama Elephant Landscape Trio, so I'm going to make this fit the die that I have. What I've done is I've cut the hill that I'm going to have on my piece, and I'm going to turn it over so I can line up my trees against this die cut. I'm just going to put the hillside down, face down, and I'm just going to shape these trees around the edge. These do have a bit of give in them, so you will be able to get the shape that you want. It may not be exact, but you're going to get a rough idea. Now I have the trees as I want them. I'm going to heat emboss these onto my sky. I'm just going to use an anti-static bag on my piece so I don't get any of the embossing powder sticking where I don't want it. Also some Versamark. I find this is the best for heat embossing. I'm going to place my trees where I want them on this background. I'm going to then add the embossing powder. This would good. Tap off. As you can see, because I've used the embossing buddy, I don't have any of the embossing powder where I don't want it. As I'm using embossing glitter, I'm going to heat from the underneath so I don't get any of the powder moving where I don't want it. Now for the fluffy snow layer, I'm going to take the die cut that I've used to shape the trees, and I'm going to get some white embossing paste. Okay, I'm just going to add the embossing paste to my piece. I find with this snow effect that we're going to do now, the messier you put your paste on, the better. So as long as you've got everything covered, we're good to go. Usually with embossing paste you wait till it's dried, but as I want a fluffy effect, I'm going to heat it up so it bubbles. Once it's started to get warm, it will bubble up and you'll get a lovely snowy, fluffy snow effect. As you can see, I've heated the embossing paste up with my heat tool and it's made it go fluffy and lift up a little, and it gives you a lovely, smooth, bubbly, snowy texture, and I just think it really does give a snowy effect. So I'm going to be adding this to my tree line. I've stuck it down, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn it over to cut off the edge pieces from behind. This will give you a cleaner look. As you can see, I haven't quite covered the bottom of my scene, but it's not going to matter as I have covered the piece that will be showing through the frame. I wanted a little character in my scene and I thought this bear would be really cute. So what I've done is I stamped him onto some of the Sweater Weather paper, and I've paper pieced his nose as well. So I also thought, as I wanted to use the You Warm My Heart sentiment, that it'd be fun to dress him up. So I've used the scarf from Snow Day, and I've paper pieced this up using the same paper pack, and also I've used I've got a little hat from the Critters in the Arctic set, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these onto my bear and give him a cozy look. I love the way that the Lawn Fawn sets are sized, as you can fit a lot of the accessories from one set onto a critter of the other. Because we've added this snow hill, this layer is a lot higher than the back layer. So all I've done is I've added a layer of foam tape that's the same width, that's the same depth of the snow hill. I've then added some red tape to my frame again, and when this sits on top, they will both be the same level, so no sequins will come out. It'll be nice and tight. So I'm going to add my bear to the scene. To get it in the right place, what you could do is just use the frame as a guide. I'm just going to add him in. And then I'm going to add some sequins to the back panel. Don't add too many, as they won't move. They won't be able to move about then. Before I add my frame to the top, I'm going to add the sentiment to this piece here. I'm going to be using the You Warm My Heart sentiment from the Snow Day set. To get it in a straight line, what I did first is I masked off the bottom layer of the sentiment, which says My Heart, and inked it up, took the masking tape off and stamped it down. I'll do this again for you. What I've done, so I'm going to mask off the words that I don't need. This time it's You Warm. I'm going to then stamp up in archival black ink, as this is my blackest ink. And then I'm going to remember to remove the masking tape, as I've done that lots of times, not remembering, and I'm going to stamp this to this. I've taken the tops off the foam pads, and I'm going to line this up over my image. Press it down so you get a really good seal. And there you have your shaker element of the card. As I want the shaker element to be the main event of my card, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the rest of the card white. So what I've done is I've cut a piece of white card as my card base, and it is 4¼ inches by 5½ inches. I've also cut the Femme Frames dies from Mama Elephant, both out of the same white cardstock as the base. I've added the scalloped piece to the base card with some flat adhesive, so that is flat to the card. For the stitched piece, I've added some foam tape and a little bit of twine to the bottom, just to add a bit more interest to the card. I'm going to be adding this straight on top of the others. I love the white on white effect. It gives so much texture, but doesn't take away from the main image that we're going to be putting on the card. And there we have a shaker card with a beautiful puffed up snow effect in the scene. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a beautiful day.